All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a podcast. This is literally what we're just going to keep calling it because I still don't have a cool name. But, anyways, today I have Pat Renny today talking about the brand new album that you can now go stream everywhere on all music platforms called Up From Here. So, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Jeremy. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, albums out. Doing pretty good. It's got 10 tracks. So
Yeah.
Um, how was it like? Cause I know how was it like getting all this before we go track by track. How was it like getting this all recorded? Like, how did like the story from Up From Here get like from going from Driven to Up From Here? Like, did you have a thought like I'm gonna go do another album right away, or because it's been a few years since Driven now? About it's been now what two? Well, at the time of this recording, it's
Almost
been about
three
a year.
years now. Yeah.
So was there ever like did you ever think like do I want to just do like an EP? Do I want to go straight into another album? Like or did you just want basically how did Up From Here become from Up From Here?
Yeah, so up from here, like no joke, I actually recorded it, like started recording it 2 months after Driven was released. Like I went straight into recording the next album. So this one album took a lot longer to make just because like I wanted to make sure that this was a non-skip record. I wanted to make sure that people actually heard the story that I wanted to tell and wanted to make sure that, you know, when they hear it from beginning to end, they're like, "Oh, this is truly like an evolution from Best in Me and Driven, and everything that I've worked in the past and everything like that." So when I came up with the concept of Up From Here, I released. I premiered a YouTube video called "Driven: A Pat Renny Story," which was a mini documentary that me and Ian Bell filmed a few years back. And I remember like all the people like that I was working with, like, in that mini documentary, like we all like, just said that, like it's only going up from here. And then all of a sudden, like that was just like the inspiration I needed to make another album. So I just lived life and, just like came up with new things to write about. And then it took 2 years to make, but here we are. Finally, everyone can stream up from here, which I'm so happy about. And the feedback from the three lead singles just has been amazing. So thank you guys for streaming my music, truly.
Yeah. And if you're listening now and you haven't heard the album, well, go listen to the album and then come back to this because this is going to go we're going to go song by song, talk about each one individually as much as we can. And cuz I really want to know this cuz I'm gonna let you know, full disclosure, what really got me to do track by track was because of the track Up From Here, which is track 4. That got me like, whoa, okay, now I gotta ask about each track if there's any stories or anything, because honestly, that was like, it's still one, besides Seasons and Breathe, it's actually my favorite one on the album.
Oh, thanks, Jeremy. That means a lot.
Yeah, and of course I promise, so I guess because also this is a little bit of a different musically in a way different from Driven because you got more there's a little bit more of an upbeat kind of like a pop rock ish sound on some of these tracks compared to what Driven was. Was that your
Yeah.
intentions to make it sound different or did it just happen because I know all the instrumentals is between you and Tony, so I don't know like was there always like was it just like let's mess with this and see what it sounds like? Was it like that? Just like let's play as we go or was it kind of like we're going to do what goes first for you? Instrumental or obviously probably lyrics, but does it go instrumental then then vocal recording or does it vary between tracks?
When I'm working with Tony, I mean, like, we always like I just show him a riff I have on the guitar, and then we just like make the instrumentals, and then like that's when we go to vocals and everything like that. But when it comes to this specific album specifically, I knew that I wanted to take a departure from what my previous two projects with Tony were. With Best in Me and Driven, it was like again like like the beginning stages of like like trying to get into the music scene and everything like that. And then so when I wanted to make Up From Here, I knew I wanted to make an album that was a departure from my previous two projects and everything. uh like for sure Up From Here is a you know it's definitely a lot more mature sounding. It's a lot more, you know, like it definitely has different like vibes. Some songs like a bit more, uh, you know, mature, more R&B feel. Some are a bit more rock feel. So I just this specific record, I just was just not afraid to just create music that I just believed in. There was you know. Like one of my favorite bands, Linkin Park, is a perfect example of what I was aiming for. Where, you know, like when Linkin Park came out with their Minutes to Midnight album, and they created something that was a total departure from their Hybrid Theory Meteora vibe. And then, years later, they would create albums that just sound completely different, like A Thousand Suns and The Hunting Party. And, even the One More Light album, R.I.P. Chester, when that album was like super, super pop and everything like that, like that was, I had to use Linkin Park as a perfect example, not just because of them being one of my favorite bands, but like it just taught me that, hey, I mean, like screw what people think, what your main sound is known for. Just create music that you believe in, and then your audience will respond to that.
Yeah, yeah, cause like it is a lot different from Driven and Best in Me a lot, like you're saying, and I will be honest, like I think well I said this to you before we started recording. I didn't know if it was gonna like, cause obviously you don't want to compare it to the past work that much, but I was like, is this gonna be better than Driven? Cause I really love Driven, and I was like, after like I think Up From Here, like right when that song started and it started getting into the first chorus, I was like, yep, 4 songs in, already better than the other album. Not saying that Driven's bad, people that are listening. Driven's a great listen. It's a great album. You go listen to that if you haven't listened to that. Actually, you probably should have listened to that. I don't know. I don't know. You're not like a. It's not like a rock opera where you got to follow all your discography. But so
Well,
far, you know, everything has been really really good. So I want to get into track by track. First one being intro, which is Up From Here
yeah.
Part One. Now, now what was that like when you were now? I want to know. Did you like write these songs like in order, or did you just take the? Actually, I should start with that because you said you went right back into the studio. Um, did you write how much of this 10 track album is from those sessions?
Let's see, like from when I started recording shortly after Driven was released.
Yeah.
Let's see. Probably if I had to think about it, because my timeline could be like, like I could forget it sometimes, but like if my memory serves me right, I think 4 of those songs from this album were recorded in late 2023, and then the rest of them was just straight from all of like 2024 and the remaining of 2025. So yeah, this is what I mean by how long this album really took to make and everything like that. Because I really wanted to make sure that, compared to Best of Me and Driven, I really, really took my time with this album. I really wanted to make sure that every single song was like, a non skip record and everything like that. So, crazy thing that we're talking about the intro song, Up From Here Part One. That was actually a last minute decision to add that intro song to my album. So without getting into full details, because basically I had an original 10 song that was supposed to be on the record, and it featured a collaborate. It can I can't even talk. It featured a collab. Long story short, had a falling out, and it just didn't feel right putting it on the record. So I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to, just add a 10 song just to, say like, go back to the full length and everything like that. So this intro song, so I got the inspiration from, okay, so all my listeners, that are listening, I mean, they know that Jesse McCartney is a huge music inspiration of mine. He's literally the reason I do music. And when Jesse McCartney came out, so with an album called In Technicolor, it was his first indie album after being with a major label, Hollywood Records, for years and everything like that. And he came out with indie album called In Technicolor, and I remember he had an intro called In Technicolor Part One. So when it was a last minute, decision of like adding a 10 song for my album, I was just like, okay, what am I going to name it? And with my previous records, Best Me and Driven, obviously we had intro songs in the past, but it was just all more of an instrumental thing than anything else. To really take a departure from my previous two records, I was like, okay, this intro song, we're actually going to add lyrics this time. So I wanted to make this like a really cool up from here concept of, you're are you overwhelmed right now? Well, we're gonna get back up and rise, and this whole thing is gonna be yours tonight. Because you know what, you're only going up from here. You're a boss. You're a badass. We're gonna do this. So that was, very short, very to the point. But you know what? That's like, made a very, very strong intro, and it felt right to add that to the album. So that's why I call it Up From Here Part One. So
Nice. Yeah, it's a really good. When I first was hearing it and how it was cinematically like rising, I was like, okay, cool. And then I heard lyrics. I'm like, oh, whoa, that's way different than the last one. Because I remember when I was listening to the when I listened to the album Driven, you have To Be Here, which is pretty much your instrumental for that, and hardly no lyrics or barely any, But then I didn't expect that from Up From Here Part 1, and I love it, and it's really, really good. And I was like, okay, and of course, now we're going into Thinking About You, which was the first single you dropped. Now,
yeah.
was it always intended to be the first one to drop out of all of these, or did you decide that that's gonna just be number one?
Well, I already knew that this song was just going to be the lead single. You know, when you create an album, sometimes you just know when, you know, after you finish a record, you're just like, okay, this is for sure the single. It's just like the impact you have and everything like that. And I mean, it definitely, had a very, very positive response when I had my music video premiere show at Metro Gallery. Shout out to Kevin Hawk, by the way. Uh, you
Yes.
know, Transcend events like like Kevin, he really goes out his way to give me like the shows and do best opportunities, not just for myself but to other people in the music scene. So much love, Kevin. Yeah, so thinking about you, I already knew that song was gonna be the lead single for this album because I just knew that it was a song that was very, very different from the previous two records. Because when you hear Best in Me and you hear Driven, like yeah, I'm known for that electronic pop feel. So when I came out with Thinking About You, it was like the first one that had like gang vocals. This time around it's something that was a bit more rhythmic, a bit more, had a bit more of an R&B influence this time. I really challenged myself with the lyrics, making it little bit wordy, but to change a little bit of like, well, not really change, but to challenge my vocal styles a bit more, just, to get out of my comfort zone. I just knew that this was the perfect introduction for what's to come off my new album. So,
Yeah, it also has a very fun music video.
thank you. Thank you. It's, actually one of my favorite music videos to film. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you went to DC for that one, right? I looked like DC.
no, it was actually filmed in Baltimore City.
Oh, it looked like
Yeah.
parts of it looked like it would have been like DC, like with the friends and all hanging out.
No, no, but well, shout out to my co-star Sherry, who was who played the love interest in that music video. She's actually from like the DC, Northern Virginia area and everything like that. So, we met at a music festival back in summer 2023. And we stayed in contact, like really good friends. And then when she heard about that I just needed an actress, she jumped on that. And then she did an amazing job, playing the love interest for the Thinking About You music video. And shout out to the posse as well. Like, the guys who played my posse, because like you remember, that wasn't acting. We're legit friends and
Yeah,
everything like that. Especially having two guys from our music scene that were in that posse, Micah and Astronaut Country Club, you know? Jeff, love you,
Yeah,
brother.
Jeff.
Oh, fun fact, did you know that Astronaut Country Club and Micah, they were both featured as the gang vocals in Thinking About You?
I didn't until you told me. I remember I was like, because you were like, we're gonna. I'm not gonna say what we talked about beforehand, but not today, but past conversations. But I had said something. You're like, oh no, but they were already featured in something else, and I was like, where? And you were like, think about you. I'm like, I didn't. And then when I went back and listened to it, like, okay, I can hear it now.
You heard it and you were like, yeah, 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 and then you're like,
Yeah,
oh, yep, that's Micah and Jeff for sure. Yeah, I mean, they're two of my best friends in the music scene, and I love those guys so much, and just to have them not just be part of my gang vocals, but also just to play my posse in the in the music video. I mean, like, yeah, it's by far one of my favorite music videos I've ever filmed. With Ian Bell, and me and Ian have filmed like six music videos, I believe now. So I mean, like, but thinking about you is like for sure one of my favorites. But to answer what you were saying too, I mean, like about it just being the lead single and the first single, I just knew that this song, was just going to be when you hear it, you're just like, oh, this is a totally a different vibe from his earlier music,
mm-hmm.
and I, again, shout out to the fans listening. Like, thank you guys, truly. So,
Yeah. And now we got "I Promise," which is the most recent music video. Are there any more? Well, we're recording this before the album comes out. Just full disclosure, people. But the album is out for listening. But are there plans for any more at this point, or is this the wrap up one?
well, we're in 2026, and
Yeah.
I just want to take this time really to just promote the album itself, because like I mean another music video would be nice, but I'll be honest, Jeremy, like I really just want to make some brand new merch. I just want to play more shows. I just want to give Up From Here the proper, like exposure it deserves. So like I'm not sure about, I might do some recap videos, but of my shows, but as for music video, I'm not 100% sure. But I Promise was another favorite of mine to film. I Promise, well, that song in general, I mean, it's hard to pick favorites, especially being a songwriter, but I ain't gonna lie, like I Promise is up there for probably my favorite song off the album. It's a very vulnerable song. It's just like one of those songs that, like it's the complete opposite of Thinking About You. Thinking About You is like the, the feel good, like vibe type of song, but like I Promise is just a bit more like honest and vulnerable,
Like
you
the
know?
more angsty kind of sound.
Exactly, exactly. Like that's why I Promise is my favorite. And if you're in your own feels, like from something you wrote, that's how you know that your audience is gonna respond well to it for sure. You
Yeah.
know.
Before the when you were teasing the music video and single release, I what really got me interested. I love like like anime, like visualize like how some of
How?
that neon coloring on anime.
Oh, for sure.
So I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, whoa, okay, now I'm intrigued because of that neon lighting, and I'm like, whoa, I'm excited to see what that's gonna look like.
Ian Bell. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Ian.
Thank him. You gotta thank Ian for that one.
Yeah, Ian, man, he's the dude. I think if
Absolutely.
any band, I know, there's other music video directors, and I'm not downplaying them, but I think Ian has been like, because I've seen a lot of his work, and I really do love his work, and I had him on my podcast, I think 6 months ago now, and we were talking about from wedding photography, everything. We're talking about everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so and he is one of the I think he's one of the best he's a really really good photographer, but I really love his video work a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, Ian. I mean, like, so we've done music videos since the Best of Me EP. So I mean, like, Ian just gets my work. Like he just we just work so well together, and you know, like I just can't wait for more videos to come when it comes to working with Ian.
Yeah.
Truly. So.
Now, I want to backtrack when you said that you wanted to take your time to do like more merch for this, give up from here the love it deserves. Do you feel that you rushed Driven?
I wouldn't say that I rushed to Driven. More of like, it's hard for me to describe, Jeremy. It's hard for me to describe it. I mean, like, uh, when I was on the Mouthful of Graffiti podcast and we were promoting the Best of Me EP, Brad was like, "You were 2 songs away from having a full length with Best of Me." So, and when Driven, I wouldn't say that. Nah, I don't think I rushed it. I don't think I rushed Driven. It's just like more of like, you know, sometimes like the newer your songs get, listen to some of your old songs and go, man, like like for example, I can name like there's a song from my very first EP before Best of Me, my very first EP, and I hate playing that song live, because it's like so freaking cringe and everything like that. So I just wanted, like I said, when I said that, so to answer your question, long story short, about like really wanting to take my time, it was just more of like I've done this already, for years, like, with working with Tony Corelli. I just wanted to make sure that this was like, I wanted to make sure that I was proud of this record. I wanted to make sure that, I before the world could hear this album, I wanted to make sure that I felt the emotion of what I felt through these songs. Like, I want them to put on those headphones and go like, man, I know what it feels like to be longing for this, or I know what it's like to have a music journey, and go from there, or not even like a music journey, just like anything that you're chasing after in general. Like whatever song was playing through that, whatever song is playing on that album, like you just put on your headphones, like, man, I can relate to this. So that's just like why it took so long for me to finish this album. I just really cared about, I just really cared about what I was putting out there. That's what it came down to.
Yeah, because I remember when we before Maryland Day 2024, we had talked at one of the, I can't remember what show it was, but I had ran into you and I was talking to you about, I was like, what's next, man? I know it's only been like almost a year, and you're like, I'm working on it, I'm working on it. I don't know if it's, you were like, I was like, you should do Driven Acoustic, and you were like, that would be so fun.
Yeah, like again, like yeah, I'm sorry if I made it feel like I brushed it off or anything like that. That was just me just not wanting to give away spoilers
Oh yeah,
if I'm
no, no,
just
no, no
going to say.
problem. And I was like, yeah, because you were like, you were like, I'm working on it, but I think also, I'm like, I wasn't trying to get it. I was just like, dude, you got to do more, like, because it was really good. I, I, I really, I'm gonna go in order here, but I kind of want to skip. I kind of want to just be like, I want to go to five. No, but I'm just gonna go in order here, up from here, because
Up from
legit,
here, yes.
legit my favorite song off the record. I mean, besides the two with collaboration, full, of other collaborations, but this was what this I believe this was. Yeah, this was the one that made me say Driven. This was better than Driven because you basically just put your entire career like on a song, and
I did.
your anxiety towards it, how you were gonna branch away, like having the anxiety of how the hell am I gonna drift away from this pop punk image that I had for like a few years, and then coming back to doing this new stuff. Like, was that always the intention to do a retrospective song, or what, or did that mold after the fact?
I've always wanted to write a song like that because, like, obviously, when you've heard, my previous tracks like Lost and, like Lost from the Driven album, or Why from that album, or Reasons from the Best of Me EP, I have no problem telling a story about being vulnerable about what I went through during a time. And I wanted to write a song that was basically about, my music journey of when I was in a band and how things didn't turn out how I thought when the band broke up, or when you know, I thought that all I would be was just an open mic artist forever, like just playing open mics, like, and having people just not give a crap about my music until, started playing at, you know, the Wrecker and started playing at Metro Gallery and, seeing 20 tickets being turned to 50 and seeing 50 being turned to, oh shit, I sold this many tickets at the my album release show at the Wrecker kind of a thing. So, yeah, like the inspiration, like, from the whole music journey from starting a band and being an open mic artist that no one cared about to suddenly being a artist in our music scene and everything like that. It's just cool to reflect and everything like that. And when I came out with the Driven, a Pat Renny story YouTube mini documentary, um every person that I worked with, from photographer, designer, uh producer, like it was all the same category, that like when Driven was done, it's like it's only going up from here. So I knew that I had to write a song, called Up From Here, and that's what, inspired the whole album, really. So
Yeah, it's a really one because it's definitely a very emotional song. I could definitely get the emotion out of it, and I'm like, this is making me feel things.
yeah,
Because
true.
it's like, in a way, it's like like I said, we only met just a few years ago, but it's
Yeah,
like I'm seeing like that journey. It's like I'm hearing the journey come through because I've obviously heard song. I've heard One Face a Day song like back in the day, you
yeah.
know, and well, not back in the day, but you shared it with me
I
a
know what you
little.
meant.
Yeah, so, and then I'm just now, but when it gets to like your current stuff, I'm like, that's when I remember what you were doing was like when it got to like the current part in the song, and I really really liked that, and it was really really cool to hear because like
Yeah,
I know for a while it was like well, first I didn't know what to expect from it, but I really did like
right.
it a lot because also the album title was pretty good, and I will say I was really when you gave when I saw you had given I don't was it an actual was it the final like CD mix, or was it just like a poster, because you gave it to Jesse at like the show, and I was like, wait, I want to hear this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to add on what you're saying too, well, side note, because I had to say while it's fresh in my mind. I mean, well, you and I met during the Best of Me era, which is crazy. So I think that's another reason, like, why you feel a certain emotion. I don't want to speak for you, but this is just my assumption. Why
Yeah,
you might feel a certain emotion about the song Up From Here, because you like we didn't know each other during the Face a Day years. We didn't know each other back when, except the facts and aberration were around, and all I was just a open mic artist. So that's another reason, like, why I wrote Up From Here, was because I wanted people to know that I wasn't just Pat Renny playing at the Wrecker and Metro Gallery and Soundstage and everything like that. It all started with, I was in a pop punk band that, was short lived to, no one cared after the band broke up, and all I was just an open mic artist. So that's why I wrote it, to just really talk about my music journey. But yes, and back to what you said about Jesse McCartney. Yes, Jesse McCartney, I got to catch up with him when he started the Waitlist tour in September of last year, and like I thought it was so cool how, when it was the meet and greet, he would go up to people going, "Hi, what's your name? Did you have a good time? Hi, what's your name? Did you have a good time? Oh, what's up, Pat?" Very casual. And then and then I showed him the new album, and he goes like, "Oh, finally!" Like, again, like, because he knows I'm a musician, he knows who I am. So when I gave him Up From Here, he was like, "Oh, I finally finished it. How many songs is?" And he's like, "Oh, another full length." Yeah, that kind of a thing. And loving the photo and loving the design work and everything like that. So it's really cool to have, a music inspiration that you've looked up to, just be, excited about your work. I think that's just it all just comes full circle at the end of the day. That's all I could say about that. It just all comes full circle for sure, you know?
yeah, yeah. I was like when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's awesome, because like Yeah, because I saw that video, that small little video where you gave him Driven,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I thought that was amazing. I said, "Whoa, that's like," because uh, I'm like really glad, and I know you know who like he knows you and you know him, so it's not like it's like unsolicited material because I know that's a big thing in the
Yeah,
industry.
for
So
sure.
I was really glad he didn't just like brush it off and be like, ah, no, I'm good. But
Yeah.
and he seems. I don't know him. I've never met him. I never talked to him. I never said hi to him. But he seems like such a genuine soul. Like he actually care. Like someone who really cares about people. And I'm just like I'm seeing this in videos where people meet him, and I'm like, oh my goodness, he is like genuinely wholesome.
I thought you were gonna say beautiful soul. Oh, see what I did there?
Well, I'll be
Well,
honest.
I
That song came up back in my life this year with that Hoodie Allen remix, which I didn't even know who
Oh
this.
yeah,
I didn't even know who
yeah.
that guy was until that remix came, and you know what? I love it,
Yeah, that remix is so good.
and I love
But
their beefing on the reels that they were promoting it, but they were like fighting
yeah,
about. Like I just love
it's
that.
so funny.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
Up From Here is always really really good, and that's
I
definitely
appreciate that.
yeah, that's a really good track. And So What is the fifth song,
Yeah.
and
Second single too.
yeah,
So
oh, I really like that music video. It was just like in the
thank
woods, just
you.
hanging out by a creek side. I was like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful looking too, like the coloring and all the how it looks like cinematically shot. I'm like, whoa, this is really really good, and I like that's like literally like my favorite one. That's why I think it's not my favorite video shot, but I love how it looks, and it is really really it's a really really good track.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Jeremy. Yeah, I knew again, like something about like the more you do music, the more you just know what songs are going to be singles and everything like that. And I just knew that with So What. I mean, I just knew it was something about that song that really, really stood out, And when I performed it live for the first time at Baltimore Soundstage, like I'm glad to know that my prediction was right, you know? So it was so like it was just really a cool moment just to have people vibe to So What and everything like that. And I ain't gonna lie, like out of all the singles I've ever released, So What was the main was the very first time I was having so much anxiety releasing a single. Like out of all this, I think it's because like the reception to Thinking About You was so positive at the beginning of 2025. I was like, man, how am I going to top thinking about you? So when So What, came out and then people were just like vibing to So What, much more. I was like, oh my God, like the name of my album is true. It really is going up from here. So
Yeah. And I also, when I listened to the album front to back, it was nice to get like a more of a poppier sound after the two angsty songs in between.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, all
Facts.
right, you know what? We're halfway through this album. Like, what's track five? I'm like, oh, this is like a poppy track. I like it a lot. Like, yeah, after
Yeah,
the two, I'm not saying that Up From Here is not poppy or angsty. It's just, it's still a heavy song, but it's not like as like dramatic. It just goes like, it's that reflection song
yeah.
that we all get, like we got to reflect on our careers or our lives. It's great.
Absolutely. And with So What, like when I made So What, I really wanted this song to be an us against the world type of vibe when I wrote it. Like when I'm pretty sure a lot of people could go through a situation like where, people worried about getting judged or like they worry about like, significant other that you're talking to worried about like judgment from their friends or judgment from their families. But sometimes you just got to be like, so what if they know about us, you know? And that's like why I wrote that song. It's just one of those like, so what if they know about us? At the end of the day, it's us against the world. So
Yeah, and I like I said, it was just it's and when you listen to the album, it is gonna feel like kind of like a almost like a different kind of breath of fresh air because it definitely does change tone.
it really is. And again, Jeremy, it comes back to what I said about the Linkin Park reference about like where I'm not afraid to make music that is out of my comfort zone. I'm not afraid to experiment different things and everything like that. I mean, I was once, it's crazy. Like some people in our music scene would be like, "Hey, I know this isn't your style of music, but do you want to come to my band's show?" And I look at them like, "What are you talking about? I was in a pop punk band. What are you talking about? I love this stuff." You know,
Yeah,
I was like, I was in Face Today. Like, what makes you think I'm not interested? Like, the heck, you know?
right. Like it's like I know it's not what I currently play, but I still love it.
Exactly. Not like I listen to everything. If you look at my Apple Music, yes, I'm the black sheep who uses Apple Music. You would be shocked of what's all in my library, like truly. So that's all I could say.
Yeah, the the only music genre that I'm not particularly the biggest fan of is country. I just don't know. It just I don't know. It just doesn't click to me. But pretty much anything else is fine.
I love country, but hey, I mean, your opinion is like valid. Like hey, you have a right to. Hey, that's the beauty of music. Not everyone is gonna like each other's music, and not
Yeah.
everyone is gonna like a
It,
specific genre or subgenre. But at the end of the day, we're all music lovers, and we all like go through our lives through music.
yeah.
At the end of the day,
And it's like people call me crazy that I prefer MGK's newer stuff compared to his older stuff, but that's just because I like pop punk and I like pop and emo, and honestly, rap's not my biggest cup of tea, but I'll listen to it, but it's not like I'm not going to go out of my way to listen to it.
I love MGK's pop punk's
So
direction.
do
Are you
I.
kidding me? I love it.
Honestly, it's not even really a pop punk song because it's more of like a boy. It's more like a pop sound, but but cliche. I think literally was my top song over the summertime.
Oh really?
Yeah, I love
Oh
that song
wow.
so much. I love that, and I love the new Jonas Brothers remix. If you haven't listened to that, definitely check that out.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Jonas Brothers, last year when people were asking me about, hey, did you know Jesse McCartney's opening for Jonas Brothers? And I'm like, guys, Jesse McCartney is literally the reason I do music. What makes you think I don't know that?
Yeah, and I honestly am like really looking forward to that because like obviously at the time of this recording the show hasn't happened yet, but it is coming up, and I'm really looking forward to that. I am so excited.
Yeah. Anyways, so
Oh,
let's move on to the next track, Jeremy.
sorry,
We still got
we
the
got.
rest of the album to go through.
Yeah, I know. We're just chatting now. That's why I want to call this. I want to call this podcast derailed, but another friend of mine has a podcast called that. So like whatever. But
I believe in you, Jeremy. You'll
yeah.
find you'll find a title.
Oh, I like a podcast with a question mark. That's what I'm sticking
Right?
with. I love it. Now we got Seasons featuring Ben Shanholtz, which, because I know the guy can sing. I was expecting him to drop some vocals, but no, guitar.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Shocked me out of the water.
I hit Ben up. I hit him up, because like I mean Ben, shout out to you, my guy. I mean, like, great people, love you, brother. Ben's been like, one of my best friends in the music scene. And he's someone that I could have long conversations with about our music scene because, like, let's be real, like our music scene could get really, really overwhelming. It could really be overwhelming and everything like that. And, sometimes, like when I wrote Seasons, I wrote it about my mental health. I wrote it about like how, because like it's just like a metaphor of like, I'm changing with the seasons, of everything that I was like going through and how I was feeling at the time and everything like that. And I knew that, well, when I wrote the song, Jeff Hans was still my live guitar player at the time, but I forgot what happened exactly. I don't think he had time to do it, so I hit up Ben, and Ben was more than down to add his twist into the song and everything like that. And he did such an amazing job. Make like he did such an amazing job like with the guitar solo and everything like that. So I mean, like Ben, like thank you, my guy. Like really just like made this song like stand out a lot more than how I originally pictured it. So thank you, brother.
Yeah. Now we got the seventh track, I Won't Let You.
Oh my god. So I won't let you. Yeah, I w- again like it's a little bit of a different vibe compared to my earlier music for sure. I mean, I won't let you. I wrote it about. We all have these friends that come and go from our lives and everything like that. And sometimes like with us as songwriters, like sometimes like it's hard to you know talk about like that kind of stuff. But I wrote that song about a former best friend who was like a sister to me, and you know she cut me out of her life. And I till this day, even though it's been like, let's see, uh like maybe 6 years since this former friend cut me out of her life, like I just didn't know how to cope with it during the time. So I thought that, writing about it, was like, obviously, like I said, Jeremy, like, with songs like Lost from the Driven album and Reasons from the Best of Me EP, I have no problem, like, expressing songs about mental health and everything like that, or expressing songs about like what I was going through at the time. So, you know, and I think it's a song that a lot of people can relate to as well, because we all have that. I mean, every like people come and go from everyone's lives and everything like that, but I think everyone like, can relate to a song of someone who you never thought, would cut you out of their life and they did, you know. It it's one of those type of songs.
Yeah, and I really like it. It's definitely. I didn't actually get that vibe from that, but I do get what you're saying.
Yeah. It was yeah.
Yeah. We got Breathe, which is really, I've so this is my very first. I mean, I've seen the name Spantics. I've seen the name. I've just never seen them live. I've never heard their music. But after hearing Breathe and after you telling me to go listen to them, I did, and I really do like them. They're really good.
Yeah, shout out to Semantics. Yeah, so Semantics opened for me for my Metro Gallery music video premiere show last year. And I immediately clicked with those guys, super cool guys. I would love to, you know, share the stage with them again, this year. Yeah, so before before the Metro Gallery show last year, I was getting closer to Kyle, the lead singer, and when we all met up at the at Soundcheck for the Metro Gallery show, I said to Kyle, I was like, dude, I love your music. I would love for you to be a feature on the song. So I showed him the demo version of Breathe, and then he was like more than down. And then he added his own twist to it, added his own flavor, made it very semantics like with the vocal style. And you know what? I'm very proud of how it turned out, Jeremy. Really.
Yeah,
So.
and I really like you both have a very good like your harmonies like it feels like they match.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the beauty of making collaborations. And you know, it's so ironic that two of your favorite songs from this album are both from, you know, collaborations and everything like that. You
Right.
know, I really that was another reason why this album took, a lot longer to make. Cause like uh when I recorded the song originally, I was like, man, it felt like something was missing, and I was just not proud of it just yet. But then when I hit up Kyle from Semantics, and then he came to the studio and did his thing, I was like, that's what was missing the entire time. It was missing a collaboration. It was missing that, vibe of yeah, and all that other stuff. And I do plan to record more collaborations like in the near future, truly,
Yeah.
because I feel like it not even just like, because like it's fun and it's epic, but also because like it helps our music scene. It really helps our music scene. Like, like, oh, like Pat Renny featured, this person. I'm gonna check this person out, or vice versa. This artist featured Pat Renny. Is like, oh, gonna have to check him out now. So it's like it really helps out our music scene when we do collaborations, truly.
Yeah, it really does. And now I'm gonna ask you a crazy question. Do you plan to put out demos?
Oh my gosh. um, it's something I've always thought about, but I'm just like, you know, uh, I'm I'm just gonna have to think about that. See, I love questions like these, Jeremy. I love questions like this because like it gives me a reason to come up with new things to release for you guys. It also helps me come up with new ideas for what kind of merch that like to make for you guys, or like what kind of covers you want me to play for future shows and everything like that. I'll never forget when I covered "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" by the Lion King at
Yes.
Baltimore Soundstage.
I
And that was a shocker for a lot of people when they heard me cover "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" by the
Yeah,
Lion King.
I couldn't go to that show, but and then when I saw the video later, I was like, oh, I would have been. That's definitely major FOMO right there. I was like,
I know.
what? Because it sounded, it was like, what? That's so crazy.
You
Because, you
know,
know,
yeah, sorry to cut you off, but I just gotta say like a shout out to my bass player Danny from If Not Tonight. So so when my live musicians like jam out with me and everything like that, we do more than just like, jam out to my songs. Like, I always like to make sure that they're included, like, not just like, with playing my songs. I want to make sure that their opinions matter and everything like that. So I remember back in summer 2024, uh, me and my live band went on this mini tour in Pennsylvania, and we were listening to do you remember the the Disney album of the Disney pop punk album where all this,
yes.
which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, a whole new sound with
Yeah,
Simple
that's it.
Plan.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah. And yeah, so that's where the inspiration of wanting to do Disney covers came from. Cuz I mean, everyone knows I have a huge crush on Chrissy Costanza from Against the Current, and she was featured on Yellow Card's A Whole New World. Uh
That
Thames-
cover, man, was like probably the best cover I've heard of that song.
oh, for sure, for sure. And I'm not just being biased, but yeah. And let's see, it had Simple Plan covering Can You Feel the Love Tonight, and like all of these great bands and everything like that.
I was
So
glad to see Newfound Glory get some love because that's like my favorite band of all
yes,
time.
for sure, for sure. I think every song held its own on that album, truly,
Yeah,
truly.
I
And
was.
that's like why when uh m- Danny, my bass player, suggested, Disney covers, I'm like, yo, I'm so down for that. Let's do it. So that was the first time, like really like, trying to do some Disney covers, and like, Can You Feel Loved? And I did so well. So maybe in a future show this year, probably have to do another Disney cover. So
Yeah, for sure, and yeah, and I have other obviously, but we're gonna talk more about the album. But I do have other questions after the album
yeah,
talk. This is
go
just the
ahead.
main. But before we get to hesitate, I know I wanted to ask about like so going from just a live guitar player to now having a guitar player and a drum like a full band almost now like
Yeah.
was that a giant like was that always your vision, was that a giant change for you, or did it just kind of like I really just want to get a new guitarist? Did you because I know when you did the record show you just had a drum machine live play the drums for that.
Yeah.
Was it always your intention to grab a live drummer, or was it just something that fell into place naturally?
Well, I mean, shout out to Micah. It was Micah who suggested that I should start, considering having a full band, you know, and I thank Micah for that because it really changed my live sound completely. And also I gained three brothers, from doing that, because like my live musicians, they truly are my best friends. You know, and I'm glad that they're a part of this music journey with me. Uh yeah, like, I think it's just, Jeremy, if I'm honest, it just comes with part of the evolution, and it's just a part of the evolution, with the before being in the music scene, I was just an open mic guy with an acoustic guitar. And then with the Best of Me era, it was just, me performing with a MacBook. The Driven era, just me playing with Astronaut Country Club and, backing track, and transitioning all that into having a full live band and everything like that. You know, I would say that I've gotten the best of both worlds, truly, because uh, being known as Pat Renny, but also having a band performing with me and everything like that, it's just so freaking rewarding and everything like that, and yeah, I'm just really happy to perform with a live band. Truly, just really happy about that.
Yeah, and they're all great guys. Jake and I talk. He's like, I want to.
Nice.
Well, because it's funny. I ask people to come on my podcast. He's like, I still want to come, but I'm so busy. And we always joke like, Hey, guess who's not coming on this week? And he'll be like, Not me.
Jake is great people. I love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy. Well, I love all of them.
I have yet to meet. I actually know Dan kinda because I've seen his other band. It was
If not tonight.
Yeah, I've seen them once. They opened with Free Friends. Back when Free Friends was starting, they had a Zen West show right before Thanksgiving,
Wait, I
and
was at that show.
yeah, it was a really good show. And I talked to them for a few minutes, and I really did like their music. And I'm like, that's how I met him, and I'm very very excited that like you got like a really good group of people like now,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, and I have Parker Ross from At Face Value being the guitar player as well,
Oh,
which
I love. That is the one band in this music scene that I genuinely love that I have never seen.
oh man. Yeah, so crazy thing. I mean, like you mentioned, if not tonight, Danny's other band and everything like that. So when Parker, started becoming my live guitar player and he was getting to know Danny and Jake and everything like that, we were all talking about our separate music projects and everything like that. And I remember Parker coming to a rehearsal one time and showing Danny him learning an If Not Tonight song on the guitar. And I was like, yo, that is sick. Like that was so cool, So
Yeah, that's all great because all of you all can at least. I'm glad it's not like how you said you want to make them feel included. I'm glad it's not like, oh hey, I know you have another project, but that's not what we're doing. I don't, I'm glad you're not like that kind of. I'm just I'm the artist. You guys are just the backing band. You actually include them, and that's amazing.
I appreciate that.
Now,
Yeah, because
I,
sometimes one of the guys would be like, "How does this sound?" And I'd be like, "Bro, just do what you're doing, because you sound fucking amazing,
yeah,
And if someone has an idea of a cover song or a transition to one of my songs to make it sound a bit more cool live, I'm very open minded to it, because
yeah,
again, like making them feel included makes them it really I I really try my best to make them feel included because without them I won't without them I won't be sounding dope on stage. You got three badass musicians who sound so dope on stage. It's like what more could you ask for,
yeah, and everyone, I'm gonna have to come see you perform this backing band because it's always been on a night where I can't go, and I'm like, I need to check out Pat's band, like live band. I need to check out and hear these songs with now full live band. It's not just him and Jeff, which not knocking Jeff. I love Jeff and I love what you
Yeah.
did. But I want to hear this like new amp set. Like, yeah, the videos are cool, but I want to see it.
Absolutely. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, like when Parker became like my new live guitar player and everything like that, he adds he's a really big Blink Ava fan, so he adds a lot of Ava influences to the
Oh,
songs live.
you know what? That actually does match kind of with your electronic sound a little bit.
Absolutely.
So that definitely that is definitely one of the biggest. I'm definitely excited to hear that now because
Yeah.
that's awesome. But now I want to go into the last two songs here before I get into some fun questions.
Oh gosh.
We got
Yes to it.
we got hesitate,
Yeah,
which
hesitate.
that was a good. I will be honest. Out of all the tracks, it is not that I love it, but it was my lead because I wanted to bring questions of like the songs that connected to me a lot. So
Yeah.
Hesitate is the one that has been least played, but I still like it. So I want to know about Hesitate. Like, can you go into like what the story is on this one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, well, first things first, Hesitate was this is a fun fact. Hesitate was the first song I recorded for this new project. So, 2 months after Driven was released, the first song I recorded for this record was Hesitate. So, I wrote it about the muse for this album, and it was just going through a time of like a very conflicting time where I'm just like, man, I like I know that, like we've known each other for so long, and I'm like, why am I know that we're friends, but why am I feeling something that's more than friends? So it makes me hesitate going like, okay, why am I, why am I hesitating? We've known each other for so long, that kind of a thing. So that's like basically like the idea of the song, really, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really yeah. It does make sense. Now we're at lately, which
lately.
I like that one a lot.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
It,
it's the closing ballad of the entire album, the closing
and
ballad song.
and and rightfully so because it actually does feel like we're at the end,
Yeah,
which I assume that's what you were going for, like to make this like this is gonna be the last track on the album, like
for sure.
because that's what it definitely feels like. It definitely feels like because it's slower and I like it's literal. I believe that is also in my it's in my top all. I'll have to do like an album ranking when this after this comes out, like so I can
Oh
do
my
like a
gosh.
full deep dive. S tier is up from here because I love that song so much. It's like because
Yeah,
hearing, but lately is still real. Actually I don't even think an album ranking would work for this because I don't think there's genuinely one song that I do not like.
yeah, that's the point. That's why it took me a lot longer to make this album, Jeremy, because like, I really try to make sure it was a non-skip record. Yeah, but lately, man, like fun fact about that song. So I performed this song for the first time at Maryland Day Festival 2024,
Oh
and
wow.
I randomly just started breaking down on stage after performing it live because of how again how emotional that type of song is. So that's why I'm just like, oh my god, like for you to say lately is up there for you, then mission accomplished, because that was the goal for that song. So
Nice. Yeah, it's real, and I didn't know you. I did not know that. The breaking down. Well, I wasn't at Maryland Day that year. Oh, that was an interesting one. That was when it was 2 weeks
yeah.
because of the weather.
Yeah, yeah. You know, yeah, and yeah, like it will. I probably have it somewhere on my computer, but you could literally see me on Astronaut Country Club's shoulder, you know, getting in my feels after performing it live.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's one of those songs that really hits me, and I'm the one who wrote the song, so. But yeah,
yeah,
so that's the whole Up From Here album, Jeremy.
yeah. We definitely touched every single song and a few extra things in between. Now I have fun questions.
Oh gosh.
First one is if you can go back and tell your past self on either like would you go back like so let's go back to your beginning EPs as a solo artist. What is
Yeah, yeah.
what is one song from each of those that you would go back and re-record now that you have like a new sound and all that? Like what is the one like what are some songs you would go back and tell yourself, "Hey, good song, but let's re-record this."
That's a really, really good question. I've never had that question asked before. I would re-record. Okay, so whenever me and my band perform any song from the first two EPs, we always perform Summer Love. So that's a song that I would re-record, just for that reason. But for my personal preference, like, just because of how much, I actually, it's crazy because it's the name of the EP, but the song, except the fact itself, I know that's a song that people actually love, but it's actually my least favorite song I've ever recorded. It's actually my least favorite song I've ever released, actually. So it's crazy because I named the EP, except the facts. Let's put it this way, Jeremy. I mean, like, except the fact in 2015 is fine, but except the fact in 2026 is just. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. But
It feels
I,
different.
I just I just can't listen to it. I just can't. But fun fact about that EP, with it being 2026 and everything like that, I do plan to have I do plan to do something special for the 10-year anniversary of that EP. So I might have to hit up Kevin and be like, "Hey Kevin, can we do a 10-year anniversary show of the first EP and just play nothing but songs from the first EP as the set list?"
Yeah. What? So, yeah, because that was also during a different time. So also, I
It
did
was.
notice you printed those first two EPs for the first time
Yeah.
last year ish.
Yeah. I think late 2024, early last year,
Yeah.
yeah, I
What we?
re-released Accept the Fact and Aberration and have it all on, physical copies and everything like that for people. Yeah, I mean, like, because people kept asking for the first two EPs. And you know what? I kept holding it back for so long because of, just because, like, they were just lower budgeted EPs. They were just n- I just can't really listen to those old songs like I used to, but I'm like, you know what? It's still a part of my discography. It's still a part of, like, my history. Like,
Yeah.
the world deserves to hear my first two EPs despite how I feel about it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So,
So let's get some CDs printed.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And I'm glad because, people love to collect like the old discography. Like, and it comes to the thing, if you're a true fan, you don't just want, the canon releases, as you would call it. You don't just want the canon releases. You want the full thing. You want, it's like, I'm gonna use All Time Low for example. All Time Low. You know, uh, I would give anything to have a copy of the Party Scene, their very first album. So
Yeah.
I would give anything for a copy of the Party Scene. So that's like another reason, like, why I decided to put my first two EPs on, physical copies, just so people can, own a copy of the very first, like. Again, this is like these two EPs. They're my open mic days, so it's something that, like, is a part of my history, Jeremy. So
Yeah. Was this?
but
These were the first times that they were put out on CD.
exactly. Oh, and we got sidetracked. I just realized something too. I would also, if I said accept the facts, okay, but with at the Aberration EP, I would go back and re-record. I would go back to re-record a song called "How's It Been Without Me," because that one is my least favorite from that EP. And you know what? Just for funs and giggles, uh, if I was to re-record "Face Today," I would probably re-record all three of them, all three of those, singles from the "Face Today," like, recordings, only because, like, I just feel like, as an adult, I feel like I could have write those songs way better now. And, you know, if I was to re-record the Face of Day songs, maybe I should do that in the future next.
Yeah, and
Re-record
actually,
Face of Day songs.
have your live band do it all.
Exactly.
And that was my next question. Was there is there obviously because we're talking about live band and you're recording your album? Are there like do you think you'd ever like do that as a plan? Like, oh hey, I'm gonna do this new single, but all instruments by my live band.
I would love that, and it's always been in the back of my mind, like truly, because, like I said, my live musicians, they're my best friends, and I actually did this with my in-ear monitor receivers. I actually put stickers of Ninja Turtles, and we actually have our group chat, the four of us. We have a group chat of us with TMNT as our photo and everything like that. And when I sent them a picture of the TMNT stickers, they're like, "I call Mikey. Well, which one's Donatello?" And I'm like, "I'm." And I'm like, I'm automatic Leo because I'm, the singer and everything like that. So, yeah, but that is all, always something I always think about,
Yeah,
So,
and one day it probably will happen.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Now here comes a fun question. I always ask this one. You're given an unlimited amount of budget, Live Nation, Ticketmaster, whoever comes up to you. You have a live amount. You have an unlimited amount of budget. If you can, you have to play in a 3 day festival. Who's headlining Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? Oh, and here's the kicker: the artist could be alive or dead. So
Oh,
if you're able to bring them
oh,
back for a headlining spot for a festival, who are you? Who that's what everyone gets thrown off by. Like, oh, you can't like one. I interviewed a band a couple months ago. Like, oh, you could go to hell. That could be a
oh
lot of
my
people.
gosh.
Yeah, it's a fun question.
Yes. Oh my God, I really gotta think about this one. So alive or dead kind of a thing, So my own festival, huh? So
You got 3 day, three headliners.
3 day, three headlines. Yo, Jeremy, where you come with these questions? These are so dope.
Honestly, that question, I heard a similar question from another music podcast, but they were basically asking, it wasn't the unlimited money. They were like, the guy, I can't remember who it was, but they said, name your top three, like, your top, like, he was like, joke, like, he messed with somebody's, like, I know your top three artists are, because the musician had a kid. All
Yeah.
top three of your artists are just your kid's band, your kid's favorite band, so they gotta play your 3 day festival. So I was like, I'm gonna take that question and kind of add my own little twist on it.
Absolutely. Okay, so the first band I'd say would be the Beatles.
Okay.
Yeah, because like Paul McCartney is one of the reasons why I wanted to learn how to play bass when I was in middle school. So there was that. And also just to see how epic of a generation, they had, like, they were, and how they inspired like so many musicians and everything like that. Just to see them perform together, that would be a dream come true, just to see the Beatles. So there's that right there. Um, Second one, let's see. For the second one, you see, I think I would go with this is a tough one. Just like like I said, Jeremy, I listen to everything, so
And it's hard to pick just three people because you
absolutely.
could probably look at all your artists and be like, it's not 3 days. It's a year.
Okay, okay. Only because, like, I live in America, and it's impossible to see them live. I would go with the British band Busted because I love that band so much. And back in high school, I used to argue with kids saying that Year 3000 is not a Jonas Brothers song, and I would always say, it's from the British band Busted. And because like Busted, barely come to the states, I feel like I would have them in my festival only because like that would be a treat to see one of my favorite English groups finally perform in America. So that would be my second one. Let's see. And my third, let's see. My third. Now I'm not gonna say Jesse or Chrissy, so I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to, not say the obvious ones. Like, so I'm trying not to say that one. Let's see. My number three. Man. Yeah, Jeremy, you really like, I
Yeah.
I applaud you for these questions because you really got me thinking. So I applaud you. Um, let's see. I think I'm gonna have to go with okay, okay. Let's see. All right. I need the Jeopardy theme song to be playing while I'm thinking about this one. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Uh, you know, I've already seen them. I've already seen them live, but it's just like I've already seen them live twice, but they just are so freaking incredible and they have such an amazing discography. I'm gonna have to go with the Japanese band One OK Rock because
Okay.
they are, yeah,
I
I
have seen
love
them
One OK Rock.
once.
Oh my god, they're so good, right?
Yeah, I saw them with Stan Atlantic. That was awesome.
Are you talking about wait, are you talking about the one at Rams had live?
Yeah,
I was at that one.
such a really good night. I mainly went for Stan Atlantic. I really like them, and I've seen them twice since then.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, that's crazy. It's because of One OK Rock. How again, this is why it's the beauty of music and everything like that. You truly, learn new musicians through the bands you love and everything. So that's why I gotta say that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where. So those are my three bands. I would have to go with the Japanese band One OK Rock, English pop punk band Busted, and bringing the Beatles back from the dead. That's what I'm gonna go with.
That's a sick lineup there. I'd go to that festival.
Heck yeah.
That would be a really good festival to go to. All right, dream merch item.
Dream merch item. Oh my gosh. Jeremy, you really you really dream merch item. I would have to say only because I know how expensive, making merch can be. Maybe I would love bomber jackets.
Oh, and I know they do cost a pretty penny.
Exactly. If they were Pat Renny bomber jackets, oh my gosh, that would be so sick. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a lot of people, I don't know if you know the band Making Friends as Adults.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
When I interviewed them, they said, "Well, we already made our dream. They're like, we made candles." I'm like, I never see bands make candles.
What?
Yeah, they
Okay, that is wild.
yeah, and then I thought of so many like I'm like obviously vinyl everyone goes for, but I'm like yeah, but let's do something different. Everyone says
I was trying to
vinyl.
avoid saying vinyl. Like, I really trying to avoid saying that. So,
Yeah, vinyl is like I know that's pricey because I was doing fun fact I was helping a guy make trying to help him do like I was helping him behind the scenes and he's like I'm gonna put my movie out on Blu-ray and the soundtrack on vinyl. I'm like yeah, you're gonna look. The Blu-rays are more affordable than you printing a vinyl record. And
oh
he
my
goes,
gosh.
"What?" And then he looked did some digging. He goes, "Oh yeah, no, I ain't doing that. Let's just go put the digital
Yeah.
soundtrack." But yeah, Dreamer bomber jackets would be sick.
Yeah, that would be sick. Yeah. And
That would be a really sick one.
yeah. Also, just a very close second, I think would be sick would be just a custom guitar, that would be
Uh,
sick.
like available, like one available at this
Yep,
bit. Like you gotta buy this big expensive like extravagant VIP thing.
exactly. Yeah,
Like
that
a
would be
custom
sick.
guitar would be that would be pretty sick. Like, and I've seen well, obviously they're bigger artists, like bigger bands. They do that.
Yeah.
I have seen bands like I'll look at their VI. Like there's I think it's the Somerset. Their upcoming tour. They only have I think it's like one available per show or something like
Yeah.
that. They were give like, and it was like it comes with a concert ticket, so that's automatically like a plus. But I think it was
Yeah.
like $500, and I'm like, and they use it on stage, and then they give it to you at the end of the night. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's still a hefty price tag, but for $500, I mean, you're getting a guitar, a concert, and a meet and greet after it as well. So I guess at the end of the day, it's if the one that wants to pay for it is gonna pay for it because it's
Yeah.
still pretty cool.
Yeah, you mentioned the Somerset bringing back my CCBC playlist for real because they were on my CCBC playlist nonstop on my iPhone.
Yeah, Yeah,
So
I
my
was
apologies.
shocked that there's. I remember when they came back, I thought there was a because it was like right after COVID they had come back, and I was like,
Oh
really?
yeah.
Everybody was coming back after COVID. Like
Oh
everybody had
yeah.
been locked in for so long. Like I remember, Somerset came back, Hot Shell Ray came back. I was like, what's going on here?
You know, speaking of like those throwback names and everything like that, I love that the Jonas Brothers have been bringing out, some, throwback names, into their
Yeah.
set.
Oh, like every night they were on a different. They were bringing everybody out.
Yep. And one of the ones that stood out, no, there were two ones that stood out for me. I'm obviously not going to say, Jessica's like, I've,
They're
because
they're friends. It makes
that,
sense.
and also I was going to say it's essential,
Yeah.
but I was going to say Ryan Cabrera when they performed On the Way Down and when they brought out the Click Five and they performed Just the Girl. Because those songs were no joke when I'm saying that those two songs, actually helped shape my very first EP, Accept the Fact. So because I was listening to music like the Click Five and Ryan Cabrera back in the day, and I still listen to them. You
When
know
I don't know if it. You want to know another fun fact about Ryan Cabrera?
what's that?
He's married to WWE superstar Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I knew that one.
That's
I knew that one.
crazy. Believe it or not. Well, I knew he was still doing stuff because he produced the one Avril Lavigne album I don't really care for. But
Oh
that
yeah,
the Head
that's
Above
dope.
Water album. I mean, I like that song, but I don't like that album as a whole because a lot. I get it because she was going through some, medical stuff, so she wanted to do something softer and felt like with how she was feeling. And it's a good album. It's good, but it's not like what I'm so used to hearing her sing about.
It'd be like that, Jeremy. It'd be
But
like that.
yeah, the crazy thing about Click Five is they actually did just go back. They did well again last year, but they did go on tour, which I thought, and they came to the record, and I was like,
I was so upset I couldn't see that one.
I couldn't go because Sundays. So here's the thing about me: I don't mind going to a show on a Monday or anything during the week. But if you're
Right.
trying to get me to go out to it's got to be somebody who I need to be like I'm fine losing sleep on a Sunday for, but
Exactly.
it's got to be somebody, or it's got to be a show that I'm working, or it. I hate sounding like that, but it's hard to get me to go out on a Sunday night.
No, facts though, facts.
But yeah, another fun question I have is if you had to pick any actor to play you in a biopic, who are you picking?
Oh my god, I love this question. Uh, let's see. Who's the kid who played let's see. I would probably ask the kid who played Aang in the live action Avatar Last Airbender.
Which one?
The live action one.
Well, there's the
On,
Netflix show
on,
now.
yeah, on Netflix. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, so I don't know. But
It's good. It's
is
good.
it
Yeah.
good? I
Yeah.
know they're getting a second season. I saw the teaser the other day. I was like, oh, that's cool. I
Yeah.
need to watch that, and people tell me I need to watch One Piece, but here's the thing: I don't like One Piece, so I probably won't like the live action show either.
Oh my god, no one tell my brother that because he loves One Piece. But like, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. So if there was anyone to play my younger self, which I've always pictured how cool that be, someday, I would probably choose the kid who played Aang in the live action Avatar.
Okay, I have to check this out because people tell me it's really good.
Yeah,
I know are the original creators involved in it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out then. All right, we're down to our last few questions. I'm sorry for keeping
Okay.
you here for so long.
No, it's all good. I'm having a great time, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's always great doing these potty. That's why, like, not only do I get an interview out of it, but I get a conversation.
No, facts. That's
um,
it's really just chatting, but continue.
yeah. Dream venue to play.
Dream venue to play. That is easy for me. Because I've always wanted to, like I said, like unpopular opinion, Jeremy. My goal is to not be an A-lister selling out an arena. That's not my goal. If I Are you familiar with the theory called 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly?
What is it?
It's called 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly.
No.
So his theory is that, whether it's like music or an author or, whatever it is, if you can influence 1,000 people to become a hardcore loyal fan for you, you can make a decent living, with 1,000 true fans. Because if you think of it, like, hypothetically, like if you are a book author and you sell a book for $20, 1,000 true fans is $20,000, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the theory. But anyways, what it relates to with your question, yeah, unpopular opinion, I do not want to be an A-lister, selling out arenas. I would much rather be a theater-sized indie artist selling out theaters everywhere in the world. So to answer your question, I will dream venue. I would love to perform at the Anthem in DC. You know,
That's a nice
uh,
venue too.
I know, man. I saw Keshi perform in DC at the Anthem, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this venue is amazing!" And how cool will that be to perform at someday?
Yeah.
So,
And
again, like um, to be an indie artist to sell out theater sized venues, that's the dream right there. So,
yeah, there was a band or an artist that I really really like, and I cannot remember who it is for the life of me. But they just announced the tour, and who is it? I'm gonna feel stupid, but they're coming to the Anthem, and I'm like, I'm going to get tickets because they don't come to America often, and
right.
or not. I don't know who it is. I can't remember who it was. It was someone that's coming to the Anthem, and I'm like, I'm buying tickets. Like I'm going because like
Yeah.
they again, it has to be. I also don't like traveling out that like the because DC's a hectic thing to
Oh
deal
my
with.
God, tell me about it. Well, I got a crazy story,
Yeah.
related to that, but we could talk about it after this podcast. So,
Okay. So I remember seeing their. I can't. Again, I'll figure it out later. But basically, that I was like, that band doesn't play near here. I'm going. Like I don't care.
right.
And I'm like, crap. Now I gotta think. It's like I'll get the ticket, and I was like, well, crap. How am I getting there? I'll figure it out later. That's like there's this meme. It says concert ticket. How are you getting there? How are you gonna pay for it? And it's just jumping
That's
right over to just buying the ticket. I'm like, yep, that's how it feels.
that's
All right, cover dream venue to play. Let me go back here in my notes. I am so sorry. Oh,
you're
if
good.
if have to record a if you had to record an EP, would you do it with would you do it with songs you've cut, or will you just do a complete 180 and just do a cover EP?
I would do songs I've cut.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's a real easy one because I'm a songwriter, Jeremy, and there's how many unreleased songs I have in my discography that aren't on streaming platforms. So it's like
Probably a ton.
I would re-record those songs just, to have it all be a part of, hey, here's a part of my catalog, I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
And then here it well actually there's two final questions. Sorry about that.
no, you're good. You're
Here
good.
is the second here's the second to final question. And that is when creating we already kind of touched base a little bit on this because you talked about you had to cut one song off the album. How many songs did you write for this album before axing them?
Probably, let's see, there's 10 songs on this album, but I would probably have to say maybe 17
Okay.
when I wrote. Yeah, 17, yeah.
So there's just the unreleased album right there. That's not even an EP anymore. That's just 17 songs. But
Exactly.
my so the five okay before we wrap this up, everyone go check it. Go listen to Up From Here now streaming on everywhere. If you release it, you release this through DistroKid, right?
Yep.
Hopefully it goes to YouTube Music on day one because again we were recording this way in advance because they've had issues with that. But
Yeah.
actually, most of your singles have dropped pretty much day of. I don't think there was ever one that didn't.
Yeah, it's all on my, well, It's all on my actual YouTube channel now because it's all I my YouTube channel is officially verified as a music account now.
Oh, I
So
didn't notice that. Well, congratulations.
thank you, thank you. That means a lot, Jeremy.
Yeah, I remember you were always talking about getting a check when we would always talk at shows. You're like, I can't wait till I get a check mark. Well, I guess there you go.
Exactly, and it's way more rewarding than people who buy blue checks on Instagram, which is a huge pet peeve. I'm saying no offense to people who do it, but it's just a huge pet peeve of mine. Like, people who
Yeah,
buy.
I personally don't really like that either, but people do it and can't really do enough. I'm not gonna tell someone what they can and can't do with their money, but that is one of the biggest things that I don't like.
Exactly.
And I guess the yeah. So where can people find you? Is the last question.
Yeah, so you could find me on all social media platforms. You could find me on streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music. You could follow me on Instagram at Pat Renny. You could subscribe to me on YouTube at Pat Renny. Yeah, and if you're new and you found out about me through Jeremy Cadle, like all I say is like, thank you guys for listening to the very end, and I hope you enjoy the Up From Here album as much as I enjoyed making it. Got a bunch of plans with brand new merch, brand new shows, and even more new music, so stay tuned. Much love and thank you.